The things that we love tell us what we are. Thomas. What if I told you that the secret to being a high-value man isn't about chasing anyone, not your dreams, not approval, and certainly not women? Imagine flipping the script completely. Instead of running after validation, you become the kind of man who naturally attracts it. Sounds powerful, right? But here's the catch: most men get this wrong. They waste time and energy in pursuit, while high-value men quietly hold their ground, exuding a presence that pulls others in without effort. In today's video, we're diving deep into the psychology and timeless wisdom behind why truly high-value men never chase. More importantly, we'll uncover why women are drawn to these men, not because they're perfect, but because they embody a rare combination of strength, confidence, and calm assurance that sparks genuine attraction. If you want to transform the way you approach relationships and unlock this magnetic energy for yourself, stick around till the very end. I promise the insights coming up will shift your perspective and your results forever. Ready to change the game? Let's get started. Number 1. Self-worth beyond validation. You know, one of the most powerful shifts you can make if you want to become truly magnetic, someone who naturally draws people in without ever needing to chase, is to root your self-worth deep within yourself, independent of anyone's approval. It's tempting to let validation from others become the yardstick by which you measure your value. After all, a compliment, a like, a message can feel like a quick fix for our confidence, a spark that temporarily lights up how we see ourselves. But the truth is, leaning on external validation is like building your house on sand. It's unstable, fleeting, and ultimately unsatisfying. High-value men understand this. They know their worth doesn't need anyone else's stamp of approval to exist, and that's why women are drawn to them effortlessly. This idea is core to Stoic wisdom. Epictetus reminded us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your value isn't dictated by what others think or say about you. It lives inside you in your actions, your principles, your mindset. When you detach your self-esteem from the fluctuating opinions of others, you gain something priceless: freedom. Freedom from the exhausting cycle of seeking validation, freedom from the fear of rejection, freedom to be authentic without compromise. Imagine what life would look like if you stopped chasing approval, if you stopped adjusting yourself constantly to fit others' expectations, or trying to impress someone just to feel worthy. You would become a man grounded in self-respect, confident simply because you know who you are and what you stand for. That confidence shines brighter than any external accolade. People can sense it. It's magnetic because it's genuine. It's unshakable because it's not dependent on something outside of you. Here, where the real work begins. It's easy to nod along, but putting this into practice demands effort. It means turning inward and doing the sometimes uncomfortable work of self-reflection. What are your core values? What do you stand for when no one's watching? When you can answer that with clarity, your self-worth starts to build from the inside out. Then, when the world throws criticism or indifference your way, and it will, you don't crumble. Instead, you hold steady. A practical step you can take today is to monitor your thoughts about yourself throughout the day. Notice when you're seeking approval or feeling diminished because someone didn't acknowledge you the way you wanted. When that happens, pause. Remind yourself of your intrinsic value, your worth that no one can take away. You might even develop a mantra, something like, "My value is constant. It is not for sale." Repeat it until it feels real. This simple practice rewires your mind over time. Also, challenge yourself to spend more time alone, away from the noise of social media and external judgments. In those quiet moments, you connect deeper with your true self. It's where you hear your own voice clearly. This is not about isolation, but about rediscovering your identity beyond external approval. The Stoics believed in the power of solitude for this reason, to cultivate inner strength and clarity. Remember Seneca's wisdom: If you seek tranquility, do less. Sometimes, chasing approval means doing more, overextending yourself, wearing masks to fit in. But true tranquility and self-worth come from doing less. Less bending, less performing, and more being. Being the man anchored in his own dignity. When you make this shift, you stop chasing because you simply don't need to. Women and people in general are naturally attracted to that. It's not about arrogance or dismissiveness. It's about authenticity. When you carry yourself with this grounded self-worth, you become a force of calm assurance. That energy pulls others in without effort. So start today. Look inward, practice awareness, affirm your value from within, and embrace solitude when needed. Let the approval you seek be your own. Build your worth like a fortress, unshakable and radiant. That's the kind of man who doesn't chase because he's already whole. And that's the kind of man who women chase, not because they have to, but because they want to. Number 2, focus on personal growth. If you want to understand why high-value men never chase but somehow end up being chased instead, it all boils down to one powerful factor: focus on personal growth. When you commit yourself to growing, truly growing, you shift the entire dynamic of your life. You become someone who commands respect, admiration, and attraction without needing to beg for attention or validation. It's a magnetic shift that happens naturally when you prioritize becoming your best self over trying to win others' approval. Here's the thing about personal growth. It's not just about adding skills or ticking off goals on a list. It's deeper than that. It's about cultivating your mind, your character, your emotional resilience. It means waking up every day and asking yourself, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? This question, when taken seriously, sets you apart. It pulls you away from the desperate scramble for external validation and anchors you in a purpose-driven life. And that's exactly what attracts others, especially women, because people are drawn to those who are stable, focused, and on a meaningful journey. The Stoics nailed this centuries ago. Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This isn't about perfection, it's about constant improvement and self-awareness. You learn to master your desires rather than be mastered by them. You learn to control your reactions rather than let every external event dictate your mood. When you do this, you develop an inner calm that radiates outward. People can feel it. They sense that you're not chasing fleeting pleasures or validation because you already have a strong foundation inside. But let's be honest, focusing on personal growth isn't easy. It requires discipline, patience, and sometimes uncomfortable honesty with yourself. It's tempting to look for shortcuts or to focus all your energy on chasing after what feels good in the moment. Yet, if you want to embody that high-value energy, you need to shift your priorities. Instead of asking, "How do I get her attention?" ask, "What can I improve in myself today?" This simple switch changes everything. Practical steps help you build this focus. Start by setting clear, meaningful goals, not just superficial achievements, but ones that resonate with your values. Maybe it's improving your emotional intelligence, developing physical strength, or learning to communicate better. Track your progress and hold yourself accountable. Don't just talk about change, live it. Remember advice: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. If obstacles show up, see them as chances to grow, not reasons to quit. Also, build habits that support your growth. Meditation or journaling can help you connect with your inner self and reflect on your daily actions. Reading philosophy, especially Stoic texts, can give you mental tools to stay grounded and focused. Practice gratitude. Recognizing what you already have shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. This mindset alone will boost your confidence and naturally draw people toward you. You must understand that personal growth creates a feedback loop. As you improve, your confidence rises. With confidence comes calmness and clarity. With calmness and clarity, your energy changes. Women and people in general pick up on this vibe. It's magnetic because it's real. They don't have to wonder where you stand or what you want. You're already standing firmly in your truth, focused on your path. The key here is patience. Growth doesn't happen overnight. You might feel tempted to chase shortcuts or quick wins, but the Stoics remind us, no great thing is created suddenly. This is a marathon, not a sprint. When you commit to this journey, you embody the kind of masculine energy that doesn't chase but attracts. You become a man who values himself enough not to settle for less and who naturally inspires pursuit, not because of grand gestures, but because of a solid, ever-evolving presence. So start today. Focus on your growth with intention and consistency. Reflect often. Face challenges head-on. Build daily habits that reinforce your values. When you do this, you stop chasing. Instead, you become the prize, steady, strong, and deeply attractive. And that's the power of true personal growth. Number 3, maintaining emotional independence. Maintaining emotional independence is one of those subtle powers that high-value men possess effortlessly, yet it's often misunderstood or overlooked. When you truly grasp what emotional independence means, you step into a space of strength that is magnetic and commanding, without needing to push, plead, or chase. This independence is not about being cold or detached. It's about knowing that your happiness, your peace, and your sense of self aren't dependent on someone else's approval or presence. Imagine the freedom in that. You don't bend to please or cling out of fear. Instead, you stand firm, grounded in your own emotional sovereignty. This kind of energy naturally draws others in, especially women, because it signals a man who is whole, stable, and secure. Stoicism teaches us that our inner world is ours alone to govern. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Emotional independence is the practical application of this wisdom. It's a daily practice of mastering your reactions and not letting external circumstances dictate your inner state. When you embrace this, you stop being a slave to your emotions or the approval of others. You become the master of your feelings. And that's a game changer in relationships, because it frees you from neediness and desperation, the very things that repel attraction. To cultivate emotional independence, you need to start by observing yourself without judgment. Notice when your mood shifts because of what someone said or did. That moment of awareness is your chance to step back and choose a different response. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? Most often, the answer is no. And when you accept that, you release yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. You reclaim your energy and redirect it toward what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, your values. Here's a practical exercise you can try. Whenever you feel the urge to seek validation or reassurance, stop and journal what you're feeling. Write it down without censoring yourself. Then, read it back and reflect on whether these feelings are based on your own truth or influenced by external factors. This simple act of writing helps you disentangle your emotions from external triggers, making your emotional responses clearer and more grounded. Maintaining emotional independence also means setting boundaries, not just with others but with yourself. It means refusing to let your self-worth be tied to how others treat you. You decide your value. When you establish this inner boundary, you communicate strength and self-respect silently but powerfully. Women sense this. They're drawn to a man who doesn't cling or chase because it shows he's secure in who he is, not desperate for approval. You might worry that being emotionally independent means pushing people away or being unapproachable. That's a misconception. Emotional independence is about connection on your terms, authentic, meaningful, and balanced. It's about loving freely without losing yourself. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You get to decide how much influence external events have on your peace of mind. So, how do you put this into action every day? Start with small moments. When you catch yourself anxious about a text unanswered or a plan uncertain, breathe and remind yourself that your emotional state isn't tied to that moment. Focus on your goals, your hobbies, your growth. Build a life so rich and fulfilling that your happiness doesn't depend on others' actions. This shift will transform not just your relationships but your entire experience of life. Remember, chasing comes from a place of lack, wanting something outside of yourself to fill a void. Emotional independence fills that void from within. It's the foundation of genuine confidence and allure. High-value men don't chase because they know their worth and protect their peace. Women chase them because that kind of energy inspires trust, respect, and a deep desire to be close. Commit to cultivating emotional independence as a daily practice. Reflect, set boundaries, master your reactions, and build your inner fortress. As Seneca wisely put it, no man is free who is not master of himself. When you master yourself, you become irresistible, not because you try harder, but because you need to try less. That is the true power of emotional independence. Number 4, demonstrating consistent value. If you want to understand why high-value men never chase and why women are naturally drawn to them, you have to look closely at one crucial factor: demonstrating consistent value. This isn't about grand gestures or flashy displays. It's about steady, reliable presence. It's the quiet power of showing up as your best self, day after day, without needing to prove or explain. When you live with integrity, hold firm to your principles, and act with purpose, you radiate a kind of value that doesn't scream for attention, it simply commands it. And that, my friend, is magnetic. You see, demonstrating consistent value isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous practice, a lifestyle. It's about how you carry yourself when no one is watching, how you respond to challenges, how you treat people, and how you manage your inner world. The Stoics nailed this centuries ago. Wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is the essence of consistent value, aligning your actions with your highest standards, no matter the circumstances. When you embody this kind of value, you stop chasing because you no longer feel the need to seek validation or approval externally. Your worth is anchored inside. That's why women find themselves chasing you instead. You become the prize, not because you say so, but because your steady, authentic presence naturally draws them in. It's like a silent signal saying, "Here is a man who knows himself and lives in accordance with what matters." You might ask, how do you develop this consistency? It starts with self-awareness. You need to know what you stand for, your values, your goals, your boundaries. If your unclear, inconsistent value becomes impossible, take time to reflect on who you want to be. What qualities define you? What legacy do you want to leave? The answers to these questions become your compass. Then put that compass to work. Practice showing up with integrity, even in the small stuff. Follow through on promises. Be punctual. Speak honestly. Handle setbacks with calm and resilience. These small acts build up your character like drops of water filling a reservoir. Over time, this reservoir becomes a powerful force that others sense deeply, even if they can't quite put their finger on why. Remember Epictetus' wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Demonstrating consistent value means mastering your reactions. When things don't go your way, don't lose your cool or compromise your standards. Instead, respond with steadiness and grace. This ability to remain composed under pressure is one of the most attractive traits you can cultivate. Here's a practical exercise. At the end of each day, review how you handled your commitments and interactions. Ask yourself honestly, did I act in line with my values today? Where did I falter? What can I improve tomorrow? This daily check-in isn't about beating yourself up. It's about sharpening your awareness and commitment to growth. Also, be patient with the process. Consistent value is not built overnight. It's forged through daily discipline and conscious choices. But every step you take toward living authentically makes you more magnetic. You don't have to chase because your life itself becomes a beacon. Finally, understand this. Chasing often comes from a place of scarcity and fear. When you demonstrate consistent value, you operate from abundance. You know your worth and you don't settle for less. You attract women who recognize and appreciate your integrity and strength. As Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. By preparing yourself through consistent action and self-mastery, you create your own luck, the kind that draws others in naturally. So take this seriously. Define your values. Live them consistently. Practice self-reflection. Master your reactions, and watch how your life shifts. You won't have to chase anymore. Instead, you'll become the man who others chase because you've become undeniably valuable inside and out. Number 5, allowing women to pursue naturally. When you understand the power of allowing women to pursue naturally, you step into a completely different realm of attraction, a space where desire flows freely without pressure, where respect and admiration grow from genuine connection rather than forced effort. High-value men know this instinctively, or at least they cultivate this mindset deliberately. They don't chase because chasing drains energy, creates desperation, and signals neediness, all things that repel rather than attract. Instead, they embody qualities that invite pursuit, making women want to come forward on their own. This shift changes everything. It flips the dynamic from a frantic grab for attention to a calm, magnetic pull. Now you might wonder, why does stepping back and allowing someone else to pursue feel so counterintuitive? It feels like you're giving up control, like you're risking losing what you want. But here's the paradox that Stoic wisdom reveals. You actually gain the most control by letting go of control. Reminded us that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you stop chasing, you remove the obstacle of desperation that blocks authentic connection. You create space for natural attraction to arise. Letting a woman pursue you naturally means you're not manipulating or pressuring her. It means you respect her autonomy and recognize that true connection comes from mutual desire and choice. When you step into this mindset, you're telling yourself and the world that you are enough as you are. You don't need to prove your worth by chasing or begging for attention. Your worth is inherent, and you allow others to see it on their own terms. This isn't passive waiting, it's active presence. You're confident in yourself and your value, and that confidence is deeply compelling. One of the most powerful practical habits you can adopt is to practice patience in your interactions. When you feel the urge to chase or push for more, pause and ask yourself, what's driving this urge? Is it fear, insecurity, or impatience? Acknowledge it, then let it pass without acting on it impulsively. This simple practice, rooted in Stoic self-awareness, helps you maintain your composure and integrity. It turns chasing into observing, reacting into choosing. Another exercise is to focus on your own growth and passions. When you immerse yourself in becoming a better version of yourself, whether through fitness, learning, mastering skills, or building your career, you naturally raise your value. This inner work is magnetic because it signals that you're invested in your own life, not just in seeking validation from others. Seneca said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Clarify your direction, and the right people will be drawn to your energy. Remember, the goal isn't to play games or create scarcity artificially. It's about embodying a genuine state of self-possession where you don't depend on external approval to feel whole. When you allow women to pursue you naturally, you create an environment of respect, attraction, and mutual appreciation. This dynamic feels effortless because it is rooted in authenticity. So challenge yourself today. Next time you find yourself tempted to chase, take a step back instead. Breathe. Remind yourself that your value is not something to be earned through pursuit, but something you carry inherently. Practice patience. Cultivate your passions. Live with integrity. Over time, you'll notice the energy around you shift. Women will feel invited to come forward, not because you pushed them, but because you embodied a presence they want to approach. This is the Stoic advantage, the power of allowing rather than forcing. It's not weakness, it's strength disguised as calm. You hold your ground with quiet confidence, and in doing so, you become irresistible. So there you have it, the hidden mindset behind why high-value men never chase, and why women naturally find themselves drawn to them. It's not about arrogance or playing games. It's about genuine confidence, self-respect, and living life on your own terms. If you want to elevate your own value and truly attract without chasing, start embodying these principles today. Remember, chasing only puts your power in someone else's hands. High-value men know their worth, and so should you. If this video gave you clarity, drop a like, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights that help you level up in love and life. Until next time, stay strong, stay true, and watch how the right people start chasing you. It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Epictetus. What if I told you that many women find themselves irresistibly drawn back to men who seem emotionally distant, even when it hurts them? It's a paradox that leaves countless relationships tangled in confusion and heartache. Why does emotional detachment, something so often seen as cold or unloving, hold such a magnetic power? The answer lies deep within the Stoic mindset, where strength isn't shown through emotional outbursts but through calm control, resilience, and unshakable presence. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden psychology behind why emotionally detached men captivate women, and how understanding this dynamic can transform your relationships. Whether you're looking to understand yourself better, improve your dating life, or simply gain insight into human connection, this exploration of stoicism and emotional power is for you. Make sure to watch till the very end, because the real key to mastering this balance between emotional strength and connection is revealed only after we dive into the core principles of the Stoic mind. Stay tuned, because what you learn here could change the way you think about relationships forever. Number 1, emotional detachment creates a sense of mystery and challenge. There's something undeniably magnetic about emotional detachment, and it's no coincidence that women often find themselves drawn back to men who embody this quality. It's not about being cold or uncaring, far from it. Emotional detachment, when rooted in a strong Stoic mindset, creates a powerful aura of mystery and challenge that captivates in a way that endless emotional availability simply can't. You see, when you don't lay all your cards on the table, when you maintain a calm and composed presence, you spark curiosity. People naturally want to know more about what lies beneath that calm exterior. It's like a puzzle they're eager to solve, a story waiting to be uncovered. And women, driven by deep psychological impulses, are irresistibly pulled toward that. Here, where the challenge part comes in. When you're emotionally detached in the right way, you're not chasing approval or validation. Instead, you're standing firm in your own inner world, calm and unshaken. This creates a dynamic where you're not just another person vying for attention, you become a standard, a test of worth. And that challenge, it awakens desire. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. When you master your emotions, you become free from neediness, and freedom is alluring. Women sense this freedom, this unbothered strength, and it sparks a deeper level of respect and attraction. But emotional detachment isn't about shutting down or becoming distant in a cold way. It's about creating space where you can think clearly, act decisively, and hold your ground regardless of emotional turbulence. It's about being so secure in yourself that you don't have to prove anything, and that security naturally creates intrigue. People are drawn to what they can't fully grasp, what's not handed over on a silver platter. That sense of mystery makes you memorable. It makes her want to come back, to explore the depths beneath the surface. Now here's your call to action. Start practicing emotional detachment not as a defense mechanism, but as a way to cultivate inner peace and confidence. When you feel triggered, pause, take a breath. Observe your emotions without immediately reacting. This is your power moment. Remember wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Use this strength to maintain your calm, to hold your center, and to resist the urge to fill every silence or explain every feeling. Try a simple exercise. The next time you're in a conversation or a moment of emotional tension, instead of rushing to respond or seek reassurance, practice holding your ground. Let the silence linger just a bit longer. Watch how that changes the energy. You're not shutting down, you're inviting curiosity. You're signaling that you're someone who can handle himself, who doesn't need to be constantly validated. This subtle shift will make you stand out, make you magnetic. Ultimately, emotional detachment creates more than just a sense of mystery. It builds a foundation of genuine self-mastery that women find deeply attractive. When you master yourself, you become a quiet force, a man who's not easy to read or control, and that challenge invites her to invest more. So embrace this mindset. Be that calm, steady presence in a world full of chaos and neediness. The more you cultivate emotional detachment with strength and grace, the more you'll see women return, drawn by the mystery, the challenge, and the undeniable power of your stoic calm. Number 2, stoic calmness attracts stability and strength. Imagine this. In a world full of chaos, emotional turbulence, and endless drama, there's something incredibly magnetic about a man who remains calm, steady, and unshaken. That's the power of stoic calmness, a quiet force that attracts stability and strength in a way that women can't help but gravitate toward. You see, it's not about being cold or indifferent. It's about mastering your inner world so thoroughly that external storms barely ripple your surface. And this mastery, it's one of the reasons why women always return to emotionally detached men who embody this stoic mindset. When you cultivate that calmness, you become an anchor, a refuge amid emotional chaos. Women instinctively seek this because deep down, everyone craves security and strength, not volatility. Your calm demeanor signals that you're reliable, that you can handle life's ups and downs without losing your balance. It's like being a rock in the middle of a raging river, steady, unmoving, unshaken. And this kind of presence is powerful beyond words. You might wonder, how do you get there? How do you move from reacting emotionally to embodying this serene strength? It starts with mindset. The great Stoic emperor said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means your emotional state is your responsibility, not the chaos around you, not what others do or say. You decide your reaction, your peace, your calm. Now I want you to imagine practicing this every single day. When you face irritation, disappointment, or conflict, instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you pause, you breathe. You remind yourself that your calm is your strength. You don't allow external chaos to infiltrate your inner peace. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you powerful and incredibly attractive. Here's a simple exercise to build this muscle. Whenever you notice a surge of emotion, especially negative ones, stop for a moment. Close your eyes if you need to. Take 3 deep breaths. Reflect on what's said. Remind yourself, I control my mind, not the event. This practice rewires your brain. It trains you to become the calm in the storm. Over time, this becomes your default state, the energy you radiate effortlessly. This calmness creates a magnetic field. Women pick up on it instantly. It tells them you're not someone who needs constant validation or who will be swept away by every emotional wave. Instead, you're a man who stands tall, steady, confident. The kind of man who offers safety and stability without saying a word. That kind of presence is rare, and it naturally pulls people in. But there's more to it. This emotional detachment, this stoic calm, isn't about shutting down feelings or avoiding connection. It's about controlling your feelings so they don't control you. It's about being present, engaged, but never overwhelmed. This balance is what makes you irresistibly strong. So what's your next move? Start small. Practice calmness in daily moments, in traffic, in conversations, in challenges. Build your inner fortress step by step. And remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every moment you choose calm over chaos, you grow stronger, more attractive, more magnetic. Women don't just return to emotionally detached men by chance. They come back because those men embody a rare, powerful stability, a calm strength rooted in mastery over the self. You can become that man. Start today. Claim your calm. Own your strength. Be the steady force others seek in a turbulent world. That's the stoic mindset, and that's the path to lasting attraction. Number 3, women seek emotional depth, but are drawn to controlled vulnerability. Here's a paradox that often confuses many. Women crave emotional depth, yet they're irresistibly drawn to men who seem emotionally detached. It sounds contradictory, but when you peel back the layers, it's not about being closed off or cold. It's about the art of controlled vulnerability, the ability to show emotion with strength and purpose, not with chaos or neediness. You see, what women truly seek isn't emotional overload, it's emotional mastery. They want a man who can feel deeply but doesn't get swept away by those feelings. It's the balance between presence and power, openness and control. And that, my friend, is the essence of the stoic mindset in relationships. Think about it like this. When you're able to hold your emotions steady, not suppressing them, but not drowning in them either, you create a magnetic energy. You become a safe harbor in the storm. Women pick up on this subtle strength because it promises stability without dullness. It's the difference between someone who is accessible but not overly available, expressive but not explosive. Reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That power over your emotions translates into a controlled vulnerability that women find deeply attractive. Now, how do you cultivate this? First, start by observing your emotional reactions. When something stirs you, whether it's joy, frustration, or affection, don't rush to respond impulsively. Instead, take a breath. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment, then decide how you want to express it. This pause, this intentional choice, is the hallmark of emotional mastery. It's the moment you step into your role as a leader in your own emotional world. This shift in perspective isn't just powerful, it's transformative. You're no longer a slave to your feelings, but their thoughtful guide. Practice this consistently, and you'll notice how your interactions change. Instead of overwhelming her with unfiltered emotions, you offer her a glimpse of your inner world on your terms. This controlled vulnerability invites curiosity and trust. She sees that you're not afraid to be real, but you're also someone who won't crumble under pressure. It's magnetic because it taps into a deeper sense of security and respect, exactly what women seek beneath the surface. Here's a simple exercise to get you started. The next time you feel a strong emotion, write it down before you speak about it. Don't filter or judge yourself in writing, just capture the essence. Then, revisit it after some time has passed. Notice how your perspective might shift, and think about how you can express that feeling in a way that reflects strength and clarity. This practice trains your mind to respond rather than react, to show vulnerability that's controlled, not chaotic. Remember, emotional depth isn't about dumping all your feelings at once or expecting her to fix you. It's about being present with yourself and her, sharing your truth with integrity and calm. When you embody this, you don't just attract women, you create a connection that's rich, genuine, and lasting. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your ability to manage your emotions thoughtfully is what sets you apart and keeps her coming back. So commit to mastering your inner world. Cultivate that controlled vulnerability. Show your emotional depth not as a flood but as a steady river, powerful, consistent, and deeply inviting. When you do, you'll understand why women are drawn to emotionally detached men who embody this balance. It's not detachment they crave, it's the strength behind it. And that strength, it's yours to claim. Number 4, the allure of independence and self-mastery in detached men. There's something undeniably magnetic about a man who carries himself with quiet independence and self-mastery, qualities that often get labeled as emotional detachment, but run much deeper than that. When you embody this kind of stoic calm, you're not just distant or cold. You're someone who's mastered himself first, who isn't swayed by every mood or whim, who lives by his own principles rather than chasing approval. Women are drawn to this energy not because they want to fix you or crack your shell, but because it signals a profound kind of strength, the strength to stand firm in who you are, no matter what. Imagine the contrast. In a world where emotional neediness and dependency are so common, a man who remains composed, who doesn't overreact or cling, stands out. He's like a rock in a storm, unmoved and reliable. This is the allure of independence. It's not about shutting others out, but about being so complete in yourself that you don't need anyone else to feel whole. As said, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. When you live by your own rules, without bending to the expectations or drama of others, you radiate an irresistible confidence. But independence alone isn't enough. Self-mastery is what truly elevates you. It's the art of controlling your reactions, of choosing your thoughts, and of not being a slave to your emotions. Epictetus reminded us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you practice this, you free yourself from the chaos that often entangles relationships. You become calm in the face of uncertainty, steady when others waver. And this calm steadiness draws people in because it feels like safety, like a harbor amid the storm. So how do you cultivate this? Start by observing your own inner world. Notice when you're reactive, when emotions push you off balance. Don't judge yourself, simply watch. Then take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this reaction serving me? Is this aligned with the man I want to be? This moment of pause is your power. The more you practice, the more you build that muscle of self-control. At the same time, deepen your sense of independence by pursuing what truly matters to you, your goals, your passions, your values. When you live for yourself first, not in selfishness but in clarity, you no longer depend on external validation. That's a game changer. Women pick up on this instantly. They sense you're not desperate or needy, and that creates a magnetic pull. You become the prize, not the pursuer. Try this exercise. Next time you feel the urge to react emotionally or seek approval, pause. Remind yourself of your commitment to self-mastery. Breathe. Then respond from a place of calm, not impulse. Over time, this will reshape not just your relationships, but your entire life. Remember, emotional detachment in this sense isn't about shutting down. It's about opening up to yourself first, to your own power, and then to others from a place of strength rather than weakness. This is the Stoic way. When you walk this path, you don't just attract women, you command respect and desire effortlessly. You become a man who stands tall, unshaken, and that kind of presence. It's irresistible. Number 5, emotional availability versus emotional overwhelm. Why balance matters. Here's a truth you might not have fully grasped yet. Emotional availability is not the same as emotional overwhelm. There's a fine line, and walking it well is one of the most magnetic qualities you can cultivate. Women are drawn to men who are emotionally available, men who can connect, who show presence and understanding. But here's the catch. They don't want you to drown in emotions, lose your center, or become reactive. That's where the balance matters, and why emotionally detached men, especially those who embody a stoic mindset, keep drawing women back, because they hold that rare space of calm within the storm. Think about this. Emotional availability means you're present with your feelings, aware and in control, able to share your genuine self without being consumed by it. It's about being open but steady, vulnerable but strong. Now contrast that with emotional overwhelm, the state where feelings spill over uncontrollably, where every small upset sends you into a spiral, and your mood swings become a. This instability creates tension, confusion, and distance. No one wants to be the emotional anchor for a ship that's about to sink. So why do women always return to men who seem emotionally detached? Because that detachment, when understood correctly, isn't about coldness or disinterest. It's about mastery over your inner world. The Stoics teach us to observe our emotions, to let them come and go without being ruled by them. Said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This strength is magnetic. It means you can listen deeply without losing yourself. You can be present without becoming overwhelmed, and that balance pulls women in like a steady tide. Now here, where you take action. First, recognize your current emotional patterns. Are you leaning toward availability, overwhelm, or perhaps detachment that slips into avoidance? None of these extremes serve you fully. Your goal is to practice presence, to be emotionally accessible but not emotionally consumed. Try this. When feelings arise, instead of reacting immediately, pause and observe. Name the emotion. Don't judge it. Let it pass through like a wave. This simple habit builds resilience and control, making you stronger inside. Next, communicate clearly and calmly. When you share your feelings, do so with intention and moderation. You don't need to unload every thought or insecurity. Instead, offer what's genuine and necessary. This doesn't make you distant, it makes you grounded. And grounded men are the ones women feel safe returning to again and again. Remember, balance doesn't mean shutting down or being a stoic statue. It means integrating your emotions with your reason, feeling deeply, yet choosing your response. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You have the power to create that emotional balance. It's a muscle, one you can strengthen with daily practice. So here's your challenge. Start small. When you feel triggered or overwhelmed, take a breath. Step back and remind yourself that you are the master of your mind, not its slave. Cultivate calmness in chaos. Practice openness without flooding your space with emotional noise. This balance is your secret weapon. Women don't just return to emotionally detached men because they're cold. They return because these men offer emotional stability, presence, and strength. And that, ultimately, is what true connection is built on. Embrace this balance. Become the man who feels but never loses himself. The man who's available but unshakable. The man who understands that emotional power is not about excess but about mastery. When you do this, you don't just attract women, you inspire loyalty, desire, and respect. You become someone worth returning to again and again. If you found this eye-opening, remember, understanding why women are drawn to emotionally detached men isn't about blaming anyone. It's about recognizing patterns and empowering yourself to break free from them. The Stoic mindset teaches us control, clarity, and calm, tools you can use to build healthier, more fulfilling connections. So ask yourself, Are you ready to step out of these old cycles and create relationships that truly nurture your emotional well-being? If this resonated, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful insights on mindset and relationships. Until next time, stay grounded, stay strong, and keep mastering the art of emotional wisdom. He who is brave is free. Seneca. What if I told you that the very qualities that make a man calm, confident, and unshakable, the core of stoicism, are exactly what 99% of women find irresistibly attractive? Imagine being the kind of man who doesn't just react to life's chaos, but moves through it with grace, strength, and quiet power. A man who commands respect without saying a word, whose presence alone sparks intrigue and desire. In today's world, where emotions often run wild and uncertainty looms large, women crave a partner who embodies stability and inner mastery. Stoic men don't just survive, they thrive, and that magnetic energy naturally pulls women toward them. In this video, we're diving deep into the secrets of stoicism that unlock this incredible attraction. You'll discover why women are drawn to men who keep their cool, how to cultivate this mindset, and practical tips to transform your presence in ways you never imagined. Make sure you watch till the very end, because the final insight will completely change how you approach relationships and attract women effortlessly. Ready to unlock the power of Stoic attraction? Let's get started. Number 1. Emotional stability and calmness. You want to know why women are so deeply drawn to men who embody emotional stability and calmness. It's because those traits signal something powerful and rare: control over oneself in a world that's anything but stable. When everything around you feels chaotic, unpredictable, or downright overwhelming, being the guy who stays steady, who doesn't crumble or explode, is magnetic. Women sense it on a primal level. They're wired to seek safety and strength, and emotional stability delivers exactly that. Think about the wisdom from when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This isn't just philosophy, it's a call to action. Your emotional state isn't dictated by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond. And here's the kicker. Most men let their feelings hijack them, reacting impulsively or getting tangled in drama. But you have the chance to be different. To master your inner world and create a calm presence no one can shake. Imagine the impact this has on your relationships. When you stay calm in tense moments, when you don't lash out or withdraw, you become the anchor. Women pick up on this energy instantly. You're the rock in the storm, the safe harbor. That calmness isn't just attractive, it's addictive. They want to be around someone who can handle life's pressures without breaking down. And here's the secret. This kind of emotional control doesn't come from suppressing feelings. It comes from understanding them and deciding you won't be ruled by them. So how do you build this calm, unshakable foundation? It starts with simple, intentional habits. First, you need to become aware of your emotional triggers. When something sets you off, don't just react. Pause, take a breath. Recognize the feeling without judgment. I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling anxious. This tiny shift, numbing your emotions, pulls you out of autopilot. It's a pause that gives you the power to choose how to act next. Try this exercise. The next time you feel stress creeping in, close your eyes for a few seconds and focus solely on your breath. Feel the air moving in and out. This practice, simple as it sounds, rewires your brain to stay grounded. It creates a buffer between stimulus and response. Over time, this calm becomes your default mode, not a rare occurrence. Another important lesson from Stoicism is accepting what's outside your control. Epictetus nailed this. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. When you internalize this truth, you stop wasting energy on things you can't change. Instead, you focus on your mindset, your attitude, your reactions. This shift alone reduces emotional turmoil because you're no longer fighting battles you can't win. You need to make emotional stability a non-negotiable part of who you are. It's not just for show, it's for your own freedom. The freedom to move through life without being a prisoner to every little mood swing or drama. When you're emotionally stable, you're not just attracting women, you're elevating every part of your life. Your decisions improve, your confidence grows, and your presence commands respect. Start small, commit to practicing this daily. When tensions rise, remind yourself, I control my mind. When emotions surge, ground yourself in your breath. When life feels heavy, repeat words. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Use obstacles as opportunities to strengthen your calm. Turn every challenge into a chance to show that no matter what hits you, you remain unshaken. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Show up for yourself every day, choosing calm over chaos, control over reaction, strength over weakness. This is how you become irresistible. This is how you become unstoppable. So ask yourself, are you ready to take command of your emotional world? To build the kind of calm strength that not only attracts women but transforms your entire life? The power is in your hands. It always has been. Now start breathing, start noticing, start mastering, because the man who owns his emotions owns the room and the hearts that follow. Number 2, confidence without neediness. Confidence without neediness. That's a rare breed, and it's exactly what women are drawn to when they see a man who's truly mastered himself. Think about it. Confidence that doesn't cling or beg. Confidence that stands tall on its own without reaching out desperately for validation. That's the power of a stoic mindset. Said it best. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This isn't just about moral integrity. It's about being so grounded in your values and self-worth that you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just are. Now you might feel tempted to believe that confidence means loudness or swagger, but real confidence, the kind that effortlessly pulls others in, comes from quiet assurance. It's calm, it's steady. It's knowing your own worth without needing constant reminders or applause. Women sense that immediately. They can tell when a man's confidence is rooted in self-respect rather than desperation. And honestly, neediness, it's like a red flag. It screams insecurity, uncertainty, and a lack of control. No one wants to be the source of someone else's validation, especially not women who value strength and independence. So how do you develop this rare confidence? How do you break free from neediness and become that unshakable force? The first step is to look inward. Know yourself, your values, your goals, your strengths, and your weaknesses. When you accept yourself fully, flaws and all, you stop seeking approval from outside sources. Stoics teach us that external things, what other people think, how they react, are outside our control. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your confidence grows when you focus on controlling your own responses, not on controlling how others see you. Start practicing this every day. When you feel the urge to seek validation, whether that's checking your phone for likes or worrying about what someone thinks, pause, breathe. Remind yourself that your value doesn't come from external praise. Affirm your worth quietly in your mind. Simple phrases like, I am enough, or I stand firm in who I am, can work wonders over time. These small mental shifts build a foundation of confidence that no outside event can shake. Another powerful exercise is to embrace solitude. Spend time alone with your thoughts without distractions. This can be uncomfortable at first because it forces you to confront your inner dialogue, but that's where real growth happens. When you're comfortable being alone, you stop fearing loneliness or rejection. You learn that your happiness and self-worth aren't dependent on anyone else. This is true freedom. And when women see a man who's free in this way, they can't help but be drawn to his aura. Also, remember that confidence without neediness doesn't mean shutting off emotions or being cold. It means owning your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. When you feel vulnerable, acknowledge it, but don't act out of desperation or clinginess. Instead, channel that feeling into strength. Be honest with yourself and others about what you feel, but keep your footing steady. The Stoics were masters at this balance, feeling deeply while staying grounded. Here's a practical habit. Each day, challenge yourself to act from a place of confidence, not neediness. If you want to reach out to someone or ask for something, do it from a calm, centered place. If the answer is yes, great. If not, accept it without panic or pleading. Practice detachment from outcomes. This doesn't make you cold or uncaring. It makes you resilient and attractive. This kind of confidence changes everything. It lets you build relationships where respect and admiration flow naturally. You're not chasing approval. You're earning genuine connection because you stand firm in your own power. Women want that. They want a man who knows himself so well that he's not afraid to be himself, fully and unapologetically. So start now. Build that quiet, unwavering confidence. Embrace solitude. Own your emotions without being ruled by them. Detach from the need for constant validation. And watch how your presence shifts. You become the man women desire, not because you try too hard, but because you simply are. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in silent confidence that speaks louder than words ever could. Number 3, strong sense of self-control. When you talk about attraction, the idea of self-control might not be the first thing that pops into your mind. But listen, nothing pulls people in more than a man who has a strong grip on himself. Women, in particular, are drawn to this kind of quiet power. It's magnetic because it signals something deeper. You're the captain of your own ship, steering through life's storms without losing your way. That's the essence of the Stoic ideal. One of the greatest Stoics said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That strength comes from self-control. But what does self-control really mean? It's not about being rigid or suppressing your feelings. It's about mastering your impulses so they don't master you. It means when chaos erupts, you don't lose your head. When emotions surge, you don't get swept away. Instead, you pause, you breathe, you choose how to respond. This calm decisiveness, that's what women notice even if they don't say it out loud. They want a man who's steady, reliable, and above all, in control of himself. Not a man who's a slave to his moods or circumstances. Now here's the thing, building that kind of control isn't something you're born with. It's a skill, a habit, a daily practice. The Stoics knew this. They practiced reflection, meditation, and constant self-examination to keep their minds sharp and disciplined. You can do the same. Start by tuning into your reactions throughout the day. When you feel irritation rising or temptation calling, stop and ask yourself, is this reaction serving me? Is this moment defining who I want to be? You'll be surprised how often you're running on autopilot, reacting out of habit instead of intention. Think about the power that comes from breaking that autopilot cycle. When you start responding with intention, you reclaim your energy. Instead of wasting it on frustration, anxiety, or distraction, you redirect it towards what really matters: your goals, your growth, your presence. This shift transforms you from someone who drifts through life to someone who commands it. Here's a simple exercise you can try right now. The moment you feel a strong impulse, whether it's anger, impatience, or a craving, pause for 3 deep breaths. Focus solely on your breath. This tiny break creates a gap between stimulus and response. That gap, it's your power zone. Use it to choose calm over chaos, control over impulsiveness. Practice this daily. Over time, it rewires your brain to default to self-control. Self-control also means setting boundaries and sticking to them. It's easy to say yes to every request, to every temptation, but where does that leave you? Drained, distracted, weak. The Stoics remind us that no man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't chaos, it's the ability to say no to what doesn't serve you. When you consistently do this, you show the world and the women in your life that you're a man who respects himself enough to protect his time, energy, and values. The confidence that comes from self-control is different from arrogance or forcefulness. It's a calm assurance that you know who you are and won't be tossed around by external events or other people's opinions. Women find this incredibly attractive because it means you're reliable. You don't crumble under pressure. You don't seek validation. You're the kind of man who can be counted on, the kind who leads without needing to shout. So your mission is clear. Start training your mind and your emotions every single day. When challenges come, and they will, meet them with calm. When temptation appears, greet it with a firm but gentle refusal. When your emotions rise, don't run from them. Understand them, then let them pass like clouds in the sky. Build this habit relentlessly. Remember, you're not chasing perfection here. The goal is progress, not flawlessness. Every moment you choose control over chaos, you reinforce your power. And that power, it's the kind that naturally attracts women because it signals strength, stability, and an unshakable sense of self. Start today. Own your mind. Own your actions. Be the man who others, especially women, admire not because you're loud or flashy, but because you're steady, strong, and utterly unstoppable. Number 4, ability to handle stress gracefully. When you think about what really makes a man attractive to women, one of the most powerful qualities you can have is the ability to handle stress gracefully. This isn't just about keeping your cool when things go wrong. It's about embodying a sense of calm control that radiates from the inside out. Women are drawn to men who don't crumble under pressure, who instead stand tall and steady like a rock in the middle of a raging storm. This kind of strength is magnetic because it promises safety, reliability, and emotional maturity, things everyone craves but few truly master. You see, life is unpredictable, stress is inevitable, but the Stoics teach us that it's not the stress itself that defines us, it's how we respond. One of the great Stoic thinkers said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Think about that. You have the power. You get to decide how stress affects you. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea. It's a mindset, a practice, a skill you can build every day. Now here, where you need to get serious. Handling stress gracefully is not about bottling up your emotions or pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's about developing emotional resilience, being aware of what you feel, and choosing your response wisely. Imagine the kind of man who can face a crisis, take a deep breath, and calmly assess the situation instead of freaking out or lashing out. That's the kind of man who naturally attracts women, not because he's perfect, but because he shows strength and stability in the moments that truly matter. So how do you cultivate this ability? It starts with awareness. The next time you feel stress creeping in, don't push it away. Instead, pause, take a moment to breathe deeply. Inhale through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth. This simple act of mindful breathing triggers your body's natural relaxation response and helps clear your mind. It's a small habit with huge impact. Try it now, right here as you read this. Feel the difference. Beyond breathing, you need to train your mind to reframe stress. Ask yourself, is this problem within my control? If yes, what steps can I take? If no, why waste energy worrying about it? Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. By focusing your energy where it counts, you avoid the trap of anxiety and overwhelm. This is the essence of grace under pressure, focusing on what you can change and accepting what you cannot. Another key practice is daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review how you handled stress. Were you reactive or composed? What could you improve tomorrow? This reflection builds self-awareness and sharpens your emotional control. The more you do it, the more natural grace under pressure becomes. Here's the secret that most people overlook. Handling stress gracefully isn't just about the big moments. It's about the little ones. The small frustrations, the interruptions, the daily annoyances. How you respond to these minor stressors sets the tone for everything else. When you stop letting tiny things shake you, the big challenges become easier to face. Women notice this. They pick up on the energy you carry. When you're calm, confident, and unshaken by the world's chaos, you become a beacon of stability. They feel safe, understood, and drawn to your strength. And that attraction is real and powerful. So start today. When stress knocks on your door, don't hide or panic. Welcome it as a chance to show your strength. Breathe deeply, focus on what you can control, and remind yourself that you are the master of your mind. Practice reflection each night, and watch as your ability to handle stress gracefully becomes a defining part of who you are. You're not just surviving the storm, you're becoming the calm at its center. And that, my friend, is unstoppable. Number 5, deep wisdom and thoughtfulness. There's something quietly magnetic about a man who carries deep wisdom and thoughtfulness. It's not flashy or loud, but it pulls people, especially women, in like a hidden force. When you embody this kind of presence, it's like you have a calm center that others can't help but gravitate toward. Women notice it, even if they don't always put it into words. They sense a man who thinks beyond the surface, who weighs his words and actions carefully, and who understands life's deeper currents. That's exactly what the Stoics teach us to cultivate. Wisdom that's not just knowledge, but a kind of grounded, lived understanding of the world and yourself. You might be wondering, how do you get there? Wisdom isn't something you pick up from scrolling through social media or memorizing quotes. It's earned by pausing, reflecting, and embracing the slow, sometimes uncomfortable process of self-examination. Said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Think about that. What you consistently dwell on shapes who you are. So if you want to attract women with your mind and presence, you have to start by tending your thoughts carefully. Let go of the noise and distractions. Instead, focus on what truly matters, your values, your purpose, your responses to life's challenges. Deep wisdom also means you don't rush to judgment or get swept up in emotional storms. You take a breath, step back, and look at situations with clarity. Women sense when a man can do this because it means you're steady, reliable, and thoughtful. They want someone who won't just react impulsively but who thinks before he acts. It's about being deliberate. You don't have to say much to show you've thought things through. Sometimes, just the way you listen or the calm in your voice tells volumes. Now here's a practical step. Start a daily habit of reflection. Before bed, spend 5 minutes reviewing your day. Think about what you did, how you handled challenges, and where you can improve. Ask yourself, did I respond wisely? Did I act with purpose? Write down your answers. This simple exercise trains your mind to focus on growth and thoughtfulness. Over time, this isn't just journaling, it's building a mind that naturally seeks wisdom in every moment. Remember, the Stoics didn't see wisdom as some distant ideal but as a daily practice. Seneca reminds us, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. So if you find yourself stuck in old patterns, reacting without thinking, getting caught up in drama, know that every day is a chance to start fresh. You're not bound by past mistakes or impulsive habits. The power is yours to choose thoughtfulness over chaos. Another reason deep wisdom is so attractive is that it shows emotional maturity. When you understand yourself deeply, you don't need validation from others. You stand firm in your values and decisions. That kind of confidence, quiet but unshakable, is what women find irresistible. It's different from arrogance or bravado. It's the strength that comes from knowing your mind and heart. Here's another exercise. Practice active listening. When you talk with someone, focus fully on what they're saying instead of planning your next response. Reflect back what you hear. Ask thoughtful questions. This not only deepens your connections but also sharpens your own awareness. Wisdom grows when you open yourself to truly understanding others, not just yourself. Lastly, don't be afraid of silence or pauses. Thoughtfulness isn't about filling every moment with words. Sometimes, the deepest wisdom is in the quiet spaces, where you give yourself and others room to breathe and think. Cultivate patience with yourself and others. The world rushes around us, but you can choose to move at your own thoughtful pace. So here's your challenge. Start treating wisdom like a muscle that needs regular training. Slow down your thoughts, reflect on your actions, listen deeply, and practice patience. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be committed. Women aren't looking for flawless men. They want men who are real, who grow, and who carry themselves with genuine thoughtfulness. Be that man. Build that presence. The kind of deep wisdom that pulls people in and makes you truly unstoppable. If you found these secrets of Stoicism intriguing, just imagine the kind of magnetic energy you can create by embracing this mindset in your own life. Remember, being stoic isn't about being cold or distant. It's about mastering your emotions and showing unwavering strength that naturally draws people in. So, are you ready to step into that calm confidence and become the kind of man women truly desire? Start practicing these stoic principles today and watch your relationships transform. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more powerful insights like this. Drop a comment below about which stoic trait you're going to work on first. I'm curious to hear your journey. Until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and keep mastering the art of attraction the Stoic way. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. What if I told you that the very woman who seems to be ignoring you might actually be deeply, profoundly in love? Sounds confusing, right? But this paradox is exactly what many men face, and it's often misunderstood. In this video, we'll dive into why women sometimes pull away or become distant precisely when their feelings are at their strongest. Rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism, this isn't about guessing games or mind tricks. It's about understanding the deeper emotional and psychological dynamics at play. If you've ever felt invisible or rejected by someone you care about, you're not alone. What you're experiencing isn't just a random pattern but a complex dance of vulnerability, fear, and trust. By the end of this video, you'll gain insights that can transform your perspective and empower you to navigate these moments with calm, clarity, and confidence. So, stay with me till the very last second. The knowledge shared here will not only decode this confusing behavior, but also equip you with timeless Stoic principles to handle love's mysteries with strength and grace. Ready to uncover the truth behind why women ignore you when they're deeply in love? Let's begin. Number 1. Stoic understanding of emotional restraint and its impact on relationships. When you find yourself wondering why a woman who clearly cares for you sometimes seems to pull away or even ignore you, it can feel confusing, frustrating, and even painful. But here, where Stoic wisdom offers a powerful lens that shifts how you see this behavior, not as rejection, but as a form of emotional restraint deeply rooted in her inner world. Stoicism teaches us the value of controlling our emotions, of cultivating calmness and measured responses, not because feelings aren't important, but because unchecked emotions can lead to chaos and misunderstanding. In relationships, especially, This emotional restraint isn't about shutting down love. It's often a sign of deep care and a desire to protect both herself and the bond you share. Think of it this way. When emotions run high, people can act impulsively, say things they regret, or react in ways that do more harm than good. A woman who loves deeply might choose silence or distance not because she wants to hurt you, but because she's managing powerful feelings she's learning to master. The Stoic idea here is that emotional restraint is a form of strength. It's the ability to pause, reflect, and respond wisely rather than reacting in the heat of the moment. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Now here's the challenge for you. When you notice her pulling away or becoming quiet, resist the urge to chase or demand explanations. Instead, practice your own emotional restraint. This doesn't mean bottling up how you feel, but rather owning your feelings without letting them control your actions. The more you cultivate this calm self-mastery, the more you'll understand her need for space, and you'll create a safe emotional environment where love can breathe and grow. It's a quiet strength that many overlook, but it's essential. Start by observing your own reactions. When you feel the sting of being ignored or distanced, pause, take a breath. Reflect on what's happening inside you before responding. This small habit can transform tension into patience. The Stoics advise us to view obstacles as opportunities. In this case, her emotional restraint is an invitation, not to fix her, but to grow yourself. Try this exercise. When you feel ignored, instead of sending that impulsive message or assuming the worst, write down your feelings privately. Let your thoughts flow on paper without judgment. Then read them back with curiosity and kindness, not blame. This practice builds emotional intelligence and detaches you from reactive patterns that can push her further away. Remember, emotional restraint is not a wall but a bridge. It's a form of respect for yourself and for her inner process. Women who love deeply may guard their hearts by holding back at times, testing the waters, or simply needing quiet to process. When you meet this with your own steady calm, you become a partner she can trust without fear of judgment or pressure. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Decide today to embody that emotional resilience. Let her see a man who is grounded, patient, and wise enough to understand that love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, mysterious, and deeply felt beneath the surface. When you master this balance, you not only change the way she responds to you, but you elevate your entire experience of love. So take that step. Embrace emotional restraint not as distance, but as connection's true strength. Your growth here is the key to unlocking the deeper, lasting love you seek. Number 2, the paradox of withdrawal as a sign of deep affection. It might seem completely backwards, even frustrating. The woman you care about, the one you know holds deep feelings for you, suddenly pulls away, becomes distant, or even silent. Why would someone who loves you deeply ignore you? It's a paradox that often confuses men and makes them question everything. But here's the truth. Sometimes withdrawal isn't rejection. It's a sign of profound affection wrapped in a complicated form. This isn't just emotional guesswork. It's something that Stoic wisdom helps you understand clearly. When a woman steps back, it's often her way of processing emotions, protecting herself, or testing the waters of her own feelings. Deep love can bring intense vulnerability, and vulnerability can create a natural urge to retreat, to gather strength, or to avoid overwhelming uncertainty. This withdrawal is not a withdrawal from you personally, but from the storm of emotions inside. Said, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change. You need this same openness, not to react with frustration, but to calmly accept that her space is a necessary part of her love. You might feel an urge to chase, to fill the silence with questions or reassurances. Resist this. Instead, embrace stillness and patience. This is your moment to cultivate inner strength, to become the calm center she can come back to. Remember, the Stoics teach us that we can't control others, only our own actions and responses. So when she withdraws, don't take it as a personal failure or an ending. See it as a pause, a natural rhythm in the dance of deep affection. Here's the key. Withdrawal often invites reflection, both hers and yours. It forces you to step back, assess your own emotions, and grow in emotional resilience. This is not the time to demand answers or to fill the silence with noise. Instead, use this space to build your own character. Practice the Stoic exercise of journaling your feelings honestly, without judgment. Ask yourself what this moment teaches you about patience, about trust, about holding space for another human being's complexity. If you truly want to deepen a connection, understand that love isn't always loud or constant. Sometimes it's quiet, hidden in distance. It's like the ocean pulling back before a wave, a temporary retreat with a powerful return. You become the rock she trusts to weather this ebb and flow, not the wind she tries to outrun. This paradox challenges you to master your impulses and rise above insecurity. It invites you to hold love not as possession, but as freedom. As Epictetus wisely put it, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. Accept her withdrawal as part of the natural order, not a personal slight or a sign to give up. Now put this into practice. Next time you feel ignored or distanced by someone you love, breathe deeply. Remind yourself that your strength lies in your response, not in controlling her actions. Resist the urge to fill the silence with anxiety or pursuit. Instead, focus on your own growth, your own calm. This is the path to becoming truly attractive, not through chasing, but through embodying steady confidence. You have the power to transform confusion into clarity, frustration into acceptance, and distance into deeper connection. Walk this Stoic path with patience and wisdom. The paradox of withdrawal is not a barrier but a bridge, one that leads you to a stronger, more authentic love. Number 3, how women's silence can reflect internal conflict, not disinterest. When a woman you care about suddenly goes silent, it's easy to jump to the conclusion that she's lost interest or pulling away. But what if I told you that her silence isn't a sign of disinterest at all? It might actually be the loudest expression of an internal struggle raging beneath the surface, a conflict she's wrestling with inside, and one that's far more about herself than about you. This is a vital perspective to grasp if you want to move beyond confusion and frustration and truly understand what's happening. You see, silence can be a space where emotions and thoughts clash, where fear, vulnerability, and love collide in a way that makes words impossible. Sometimes, when someone is deeply in love, the intensity of their feelings creates a storm inside, and instead of speaking out, they retreat inward. It's not because they want to punish you or shut you out, but because they're trying to process the overwhelming tide of their own emotions. The Stoics teach us that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, and this silence often arises from imagined fears or uncertainties rather than from a lack of feeling. So what do you do with this silence? The first step is to resist the urge to fill the quiet with panic or desperate questions. Instead, you need to build your own inner calm and practice patience. As advised, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. You have the power to change how you interpret her silence. Instead of seeing it as rejection, view it as a moment of internal conflict, a signal that she might need time and space, not pressure. This doesn't mean you become passive or ignore the situation. On the contrary, it calls for a different kind of strength, the strength to hold steady, to listen with your eyes and your heart, and to trust that silence is often a form of communication in itself. You can use this time to reflect on your own emotions and reactions. Are you chasing answers? Are you allowing yourself to feel anxious or insecure? The more you master your own inner landscape, the more you'll be able to meet her silence with understanding rather than fear. Here's a practical step for you. When you notice her pulling back into silence, practice what the Stoics call the art of pause. Don't rush to fill the void. Instead, breathe deeply, acknowledge your feelings, and remind yourself that silence can be a healing space. Use this time to focus on your own growth and emotional resilience. This shift in focus not only helps you remain grounded but also makes you more attractive, because strength isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself. Remember, silence isn't the enemy. It's a mirror reflecting a deeper emotional reality. When you learn to accept and understand this, you open the door to greater empathy and connection. You become someone who can weather the storm of emotions with calm and confidence, rather than someone who runs at the first sign of quiet. This kind of steadiness is magnetic. It draws people in, especially those who are struggling internally. You have the power to transform silence from a source of anxiety into an opportunity for growth, both for you and for her. The key lies in your response. Embrace patience, cultivate understanding, strengthen your inner calm. The Stoics believed that no man is free who is not master of himself. Master your reaction to her silence, and you unlock the freedom to build a connection that withstands the most turbulent storms. So next time you find yourself faced with her quiet, don't retreat or demand answers. Instead, stand firm within yourself. Let the silence speak, and let your calm be the voice that guides both of you toward clarity and love. This is the kind of love that doesn't falter when words fail but grows stronger in the quiet spaces between them. Number 4, the role of patience and self-control in winning genuine love. When a woman is deeply in love yet seems to ignore you, it's easy to misinterpret her silence or distance as rejection or disinterest. But here's a Stoic truth you need to embrace. Genuine love isn't rushed. It's earned through patience and self-control. The temptation to react impulsively, to chase after attention or demand reassurance, is natural. But those urges are exactly what pull you away from authentic connection. You have to learn to sit with discomfort, to wait without anxiety, and to trust the process unfolding beneath the surface. Once reminded himself that, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. That means your power lies not in controlling her actions or feelings, but in mastering your own response. You have to become the calm in the storm. When you hold back your impatience, when you resist the urge to flood her with messages or seek constant validation, you create space where real emotions can grow. This isn't passive waiting. It's active self-mastery, a deliberate choice to focus on your own growth, values, and peace of mind. Your self-control sends a powerful message. You're not desperate, you're not needy, you're steady. And steadiness attracts in a way that frantic energy never can. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about what you do while you wait. Use that time to build yourself up, to reflect, to strengthen your character. The Stoics teach that external circumstances should never dictate your inner tranquility. You can choose to be unshaken, regardless of how uncertain her attention feels. This mindset flips the script. Instead of feeling powerless, you become empowered. You show that you value yourself and your own time, which in turn increases her respect and genuine affection for you. Here's an exercise for you. The next time you feel the urge to reach out impulsively or question her silence, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Remind yourself of this truth. I cannot control her feelings, but I can control my reaction. Then redirect your energy to something meaningful, whether it's a hobby, work, or personal growth. This small act of self-discipline builds momentum and confidence over time. You might wonder, but what if I lose her by not acting? That's the fear speaking, not wisdom. Genuine love is not about frantic grabbing or holding on tight. It's about trust and mutual respect. The Stoics believed in accepting what fate brings while focusing on what's within your control. You can't force someone's feelings, but you can control your integrity and composure. When you master these, you attract a love that's real and lasting, because it's based on authenticity, not neediness. So take this lesson seriously. Cultivate patience like it's the most valuable muscle in your body. Practice self-control as an act of self-respect. Understand that silence or distance from a woman who loves you deeply is often a test, not of your worth, but of your ability to remain steady and true to yourself. This is the kind of strength that moves mountains quietly, that wins hearts without desperation or drama. You're not just waiting, you're preparing. You're not just enduring, you're growing. The woman you want to attract will notice the calm power you carry, the power that comes from self-mastery. As Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly. Love, like virtue, requires time, patience, and deliberate effort. You have what it takes. Now it's time to act with wisdom and restraint and watch genuine love unfold naturally. Number 5. Differentiating between ignorance and respectful space in love. There's a subtle but powerful difference between being ignored and being given respectful space, and understanding this difference can completely change how you experience love. When a woman you care about seems distant or unresponsive, your mind might instantly jump to feelings of rejection or confusion. But what if, instead of ignoring you, she's actually offering you something deeper, something rooted in respect and care? This is where Stoic wisdom shines, the art of discerning what's within your control and what is not, and responding with calm clarity rather than reactive emotion. When you're in love, it's natural to want constant connection, to seek reassurance in every message or glance. But love isn't about possession or control. Sometimes, the greatest expression of love is allowing space to breathe, reflect, and grow. This isn't coldness or neglect. It's a conscious choice to honor both her individuality and the rhythm of your relationship. Said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Here, the injury isn't from her, but from your misunderstanding of her actions. Instead of reacting with anxiety or frustration, choose to rise above, to meet her space with patience and trust. You need to retrain your mind to see respect in the silence, to find meaning in the pauses. This requires courage because it pushes against the instinct to fill every void with noise or need. It demands that you become comfortable with uncertainty, with the unknown. But this discomfort is where growth lives. When you learn to differentiate between true ignorance, being dismissed or overlooked, and respectful space, being honored in your own right, you become the steady pillar in the storm of emotions. Try this exercise. The next time you feel ignored, pause and ask yourself, is this distance an act of neglect or an invitation to deepen my understanding? Reflect on how you respond. Do you react with fear or clinginess or with calm curiosity? As Epictetus teaches, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Most of the time, what you fear is simply your own mind running wild with stories. You have the power to shift your perspective, to move from victimhood to mastery. When you respect her need for space, you demonstrate strength and confidence, qualities that naturally attract and sustain love. This doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect, but that you learn to recognize when silence is a gift, not a punishment. The more you practice this, the more your relationship transforms into a balanced dance of closeness and freedom. Remember, love is not about constant presence or immediate gratification. It's about trust, trust in her, and trust in yourself. It's about knowing that giving space can actually bring you closer. The Stoics believed that true connection comes from inner virtue, not external validation. So adopt this mindset. Be patient, be wise, be steady. Take this moment to change how you think about distance and silence in your relationships. See it as a sign of respect, not rejection. When you do, you unlock a deeper, more resilient love that can weather any storm. You become the man who understands that sometimes love's greatest expression is knowing when to hold on and when to let go. If you've ever wondered why the very women who love you deeply sometimes pull away or seem distant, now you understand the quiet strength behind it, a space where emotions and respect intertwine. Remember, true connection isn't about chasing attention but embracing patience, self-awareness, and the wisdom of stoic calm. So if this video opened your eyes, don't just stop here. Reflect on it, practice it, and watch your relationships transform from confusion into clarity. And hey, if you found value in this insight, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because there's so much more wisdom waiting just for you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay wise, and keep growing.